In this video, we're diving into a heartbreaking case of a young woman whose dream vacation turned into a nightmare. Let's get started. In late November 2021, Jamie Beaulieu was going about her morning routine. The phone rang at 9 a.m. She didn't know the number and was on the fence about answering because she thought it might be a scammer. However, she picked up the phone anyway. The moment she said, "Hello," her whole world fell apart. Someone from the American consulate in Mexico was on the other end of the line. When she heard the words Sativa Transu, dead, and hotel room, she felt like she couldn't breathe. They were on vacation in Cancun, Mexico, with Sativa, who was Jamie's daughter. They had been together for 3 years. Right then, the world might have ended, and Jamie wouldn't even have a plan. But she knew right away that she had to do something. Find the killer of her daughter. He or she was born in Spokane, Washington, on May 19th, 1995. Because Sativa was 12 years old when her family moved to Cheney, this is where she lived. These plants had a sister named Michaela, and they were very close to each other. They were best friends as well as sisters. Sativa finished from Cheney High School in 2013 after going there. She later went to Eastern Washington University to study sports science. The job Sativa really wanted was to be a massage therapist, which is in the field of exercise and training. Sativa was named the student with the most contagious laugh in high school, which should have told you how smart and likable she was. This is kind of a tired trope in the true crime genre, but Sativa really was the kind of person who loved everything and was always happy. She loved life in every way, whether it was the sun, the colors, a good movie, or tasty food. She finished from Eastern Washington University in June 2017 and moved to Milton, Washington. She moved to a new place where she didn't know anyone, but wanted to open new shops in the area. The move went smoothly, regardless. It didn't take her long to make new friends and settle down in Milton because she was so friendly and pleasant. Soon, a very important person named Taylor Allen became interested in her because of how contagious she was. Sativa and Taylor met at work in Cheney. According to people who knew Allen, they were very different. As a whole, Sativa was a breath of fresh air. It was daring and loving. Taylor, on the other hand, was always a strange person. There's nothing wrong with being different in a relationship. He was a bit more quiet than Sativa. If you're a real team, it just means that you're good at everything, because you each do different things well. The only trouble was that Taylor was also very shy. He seemed to feel like he didn't deserve Sativa for some reason, and he was afraid she would leave him or cheat on him. It was clear he was scared, but he didn't know what or why. When his stress got the best of him, he would use his laptop to keep an eye on what was happening on Sativa's phone. Every time Sativa got a text on her phone, Taylor would get one on his PC at the same time. It was pretty clear that this was completely crazy. The rest of the world thought Taylor was cute, nice, and a very chill person. But he was having a hard time behind closed doors. It wasn't long before Taylor started to keep Sativa to himself. When she tried to meet her family or friends, he wouldn't let her. If she did, he would get so mad that Sativa didn't think the trip was worth it. She started to stay home alone and avoid people. That was bad enough. What made things even worse was that Taylor quickly became addicted. This made things worse. Taylor was already crazy before he was changed, but now he is even more crazy. Sativa was talking to a friend, and Taylor was so high that she used the phrase, "a literal beast," to describe him. It's clear that neither Sativa nor Taylor were happy. To make things even worse, Taylor sold illegal drugs and got in trouble with the law several times. At one point, he was even arrested for selling drugs, which was the point at which things really went bad. Michaela, Sativa's sister, came to visit a lot. She never saw Taylor there, but she couldn't take her eyes off the big holes in the apartment walls, the broken shelves, tables, and glass all over the place. Sativa waved all of Michaela's doubts away, even though she had them. It was successful for Taylor to end his relationship with Sativa, and now she felt stuck. To protect Taylor from being caught, she felt she had to lie to him. The moment she tried to leave, Taylor would pull out all the stops and say he would kill herself if she did. It was Thanksgiving in November 2021, and Sativa wanted to go see her family. When she saw her family and friends again, after a long time, it was because it had been so long. Taylor had other ideas, though. He had planned a trip to Cancun, Mexico, for the same day that Sativa was going to see her family. Many people think that Taylor pretty much pushed Sativa to choose Cancun with him over her own family. We don't know for sure if this was done on purpose or if it was meant to be a last-minute surprise for her. Sativa finally decided to go to Cancun after realizing how alone she was. Don't misunderstand me. Sativa really liked Cancun. It was her favorite place to go on vacation. There are, however, many who think that Taylor picked this place because he knew Sativa wouldn't say no. People Sativa used to hang out with were shocked when they heard this, but one of them had a very interesting story to tell. Tiffany Shirley, who used to work for both Sativa and Taylor, had some bad things to say about Taylor. Stacia said that Taylor had a ridiculous temper. She has a very clear memory of a very important event that happened when Taylor got angry while building her desk for work and smashed the poor table to pieces with a mallet. You can probably tell that Taylor didn't like it when things didn't go his way. He could get very angry and hurt anything, even furniture. This was the guy Sativa had been seeing for 3 years. She had tried to break up with him several times, but Taylor always knew what to say to make her come back to him. There were some very bad demons inside this man that he was fighting. Finally, Sativa chose to go on vacation to Cancun. But as soon as she got back to Milton, she decided that she no longer wanted to be with Taylor. This would never happen, though. This was because Sativa would not come back from Cancun alive. There was a fight between Taylor and Sativa before they got on the plane to Cancun on November 25th, 2021. This was typical of Taylor. There are no words in this man's dictionary that mean peace and quiet, and the holiday was off to a very bad start. She texted Michaela to wish her a happy Thanksgiving and let her know she loved her before they left. She then posted pictures of herself, enjoying the sun and nice weather for the next 2 days. The pictures made her look truly happy. Michaela heard from Sativa's friends 2 days into the trip, though. Up until now, Sativa had been texting them all day, sending them pictures and telling them about her trip. Then, all of a sudden, Sativa stopped answering her phone or texts. One of Sativa's friends also told her some very scary things. She told her that Sativa had texted her to say that she and Taylor had a fight that turned physical, and Sativa needed stitches because she was hurt. This scared Sativa's family right away. They didn't know how things got so much worse so quickly because they had never seen things get this bad before. They called Sativa, but she wouldn't pick up. They texted her, but she didn't answer. As the afternoon turned into evening, they were more and more scared. Sativa wasn't to be found at all, and none of her calls or texts were read or returned. The call came to Sativa's mother as the cold air of the night slowly gave way to the warmth of the morning sun. That call at 9 a.m. is every parent's worst fear. Late in November, 2021, a terrible day. Sativa's mom got a call from the American consulate in Mexico. The person on the other end of the line said something that shook everyone to their core. Sativa's dead body was found in her hotel room. She wasn't just dead, though. Anyone could tell from the way she looked that she had been through something very upsetting. Everyone and every part of her body had been hit. It was truly horrifying. It was very hard for Sativa's family to figure out how things had gotten so bad. There are a lot of miles between us and no language between us. It wasn't going to be simple. Sativa's family and friends needed answers, though. Michaela, Sativa's family, and the cops were able to piece together what happened, even though they didn't know exactly how things got worse. Thus, the sad day that Sativa died was an ordinary one. Not too weird when you're on vacation in a different country with a guy that makes your skin crawl. On the evening of November 26th, the couple was seen at a restaurant. People who saw them said they weren't fighting and that everything was fine. Everything was strange afterward, though. Following dinner, Sativa and Taylor went to the bar. After a few drinks, Sativa noticed Taylor making out with another woman, which led to a fight between the two. After everything Taylor had done for her, and all the times she had tried to break up with him, she was hurt and angry that he had the nerve to flirt with someone else right in front of her. There was no longer any sense to it. When Sativa caught Taylor, a 31-year-old man, he started acting like a spoiled child. He threw a fit, picked up things, and threw them across the room, and generally went crazy. Taylor was asked to leave the bar by security. On the way to their hotel room, Taylor was being a complete nuisance by jumping over chairs and fences and falling on his face. The hotel staff finally told Sativa that he couldn't leave their room for the rest of the night. Following the mess, Sativa and Taylor were in their room, but the front desk got a lot of calls about screams coming from their room, screams from women. The hotel staff was shocked to see Sativa when they went up to the 4th floor to look into what was going on. Her chin had a cut that was about 1.5 inches long and very deep. We don't know everything that happened in that hotel room, but based on the screaming and Taylor's past of abusing Sativa for 3 years, it's likely that a fight got out of hand and that Taylor hurt Sativa. She had to get stitches because her cut was so deep. Sativa was taken to the hallway to see a doctor because of this, but Taylor was not there. Anyway, he climbed out of the hotel room window and was lying next to the air conditioners, obviously drunk. When hotel security came up to him, he was making up stories about jumping off the balcony and not knowing where he was. The hotel staff even called the cops, but Taylor was taken back to his room before they got there. In other words, the cops never talked to Taylor or Sativa. Things might have gone differently if they had. The doctor seemed worried about Sativa while she was getting her wounds stitched up. She said over and over that she fell. Taylor didn't hurt her, and they loved each other. The doctor is said to have even offered Sativa a different room to sleep in, but Sativa turned him down. But Sativa's sister didn't agree with this remark. The fact that her sister was in a different country, didn't speak the language, and was being abused by a guy 3 times her size made her angry. She was naturally scared, and since they didn't speak the same language, it's likely that she didn't even understand what the doctor was telling her. There is a lot of frustration, because no one knows what happened, and everything is very hard to understand for Sativa, because everyone in Mexico speaks Spanish. Sativa went back to the room with Taylor after getting fixed up. It was just a different room this time. They were moved to the 1st floor, so Taylor wouldn't have to jump off the floor again. We don't really know what happened after that. Late at night, People on the floor below Taylor and Sativa heard screams from a woman coming from Sativa's room. Sadly, they didn't tell anyone about it. Not to anyone at the front desk, and especially not to the cops. When everything was over, the neighbors just turned away. The head of security at the hotel heard the woman screaming too, but he did nothing. The hotel workers and security were afraid of Taylor because he was big and angry. But do I need to tell you that these people are in charge of keeping the hotel and its guests safe? Still, they were afraid of someone and didn't go up to them. The next morning, Taylor walked up to the front desk after taking a shower and told the woman there that his girlfriend was asleep in a cold, calm voice. When the hotel staff finally went into Sativa's room, they saw a horrible scene. Sativa was found on the floor, next to the bed, face down. She had wounds all over her body. You name it, bruises and scratches. It was really bad. The fact that her purse was on her back made it even scarier. It looked like she was getting her things together to try to get away from Taylor, but she obviously couldn't. It went without saying that by the time the police arrived, it was clear that Sativa wasn't just unconscious, she had died. Sativa's body was taken to be examined by a doctor. As soon as the examiner looked at her, it was clear what had happened. Taylor beat Sativa so badly that she was no longer recognizable, and sadly, he was able to kill her with his bare hands. There were also many defensive cuts on Sativa's body. Even though she fought back, it was too late to save her life. Sativa, on the other hand, weighed only 140 pounds, while Taylor weighed 260. A man who was much bigger and stronger than Sativa, as well as being very violent, totally beat her. The death of Sativa was so scary and sad that her family still can't believe it. It breaks my heart that they blame themselves for not doing anything when they saw the signs. After the police caught the bad guy, it wasn't long before they knew who it was. This was especially true after talking to witnesses and learning about what happened before Sativa was killed. Taylor Allen was caught right away. Sativa was killed in Cancun, Mexico, but she was from Washington, so it was clear that her family wanted her body to be taken back to the United States. She was going to be buried in the place where she was born and lived her whole life, and her family wanted to do another autopsy. However, as we all know, it costs a lot to bring a person back from another country to your own, and Sativa's family were not able to do this right away. This made Michaela start a GoFundMe. The idea was to get enough money to bring Sativa back home, bury her properly, and fight for freedom. There was no way Michaela was going to give up. She was motivated to do what was right for her sister, who was a loving, happy person. The only thing she did wrong was sticking with Taylor for so long and putting up with his mental, physical, and emotional abuse. The Mexican government will be in charge of Sativa's case, which means that the trial will also take place there, which is another big problem. The two languages are still very hard to understand, and Sativa's family has to take a lot of expensive trips from the US to Mexico. The Transu family finally got a lawyer for Sativa's full case on December 8, 2021, and worked with the judge. The next day, Sativa's body was finally flown back to the US. Even though her family could finally bury her, the case was still not over. The family of Sativa was told that his case would be given to one of Mexico's strictest courts. As April 2022 came around, Taylor's defense team asked for 2 more months to look into the case, which they were given. But even though it's been more than 2 years, there have been no new developments in Taylor's trial, and it's not clear what's stopping things. The officials want to give her a 50-year sentence, which is the harshest punishment in Mexico for killing a woman. No one really knows why Taylor hasn't been convicted yet, though. But when Taylor got back to Mexico, he was found to have joined a drug cartel and done a lot of sketchy things to try to buy his freedom and apparently get out of jail. He has a plan, but I don't think it will work out. Only time will tell. Justice takes a long time to work, but I hope that Sativa's family can finally get justice for their sister and daughter after all of this trouble and back and forth. The Mexican court system has to make a ruling, so we will have to wait. But Taylor isn't thought to be the only one responsible. For some reason, Michaela thinks that Rosa Duran, Taylor's mum, broke into Sativa's apartment after she died and stole a safe, keys to both Sativa and Taylor's cars, and other things. She was the only woman who called Sativa's apartment complex over and over again and asked to be let in. But because she wasn't on the lease, she was always turned down. But all of a sudden, around this time, there was a break-in, and Rosa's calls stopped. That doesn't seem quite right to me. Even worse, Rosa has been taking care of Sativa's service dog, Shadow, since the couple left for Cancun, which Sativa didn't like. As Michaela put it, Sativa promised to save Shadow from Rosa as soon as she got back from vacation. But that day never came, and now Shadow is stuck. The only thing you need to know about Sativa and Rosa's relationship is that they did not get along. Sativa said that Rosa had complete power over Taylor. Rosa even tried to get Taylor and Sativa to move into a duplex close to her after they got back from Cancun. It's clear that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Taylor and Rosa should both be responsible for what they do. I just hope this case ends soon. 50 years is way too short for a guy like Taylor. But I hope the Mexican court system does what's right, because Sativa and her family didn't deserve what they went through and are still going through. Michaela's life goal is to teach women how to spot the signs of a cruel relationship. She tells everyone who is stuck to get help and get away. She is sure that Sativa would have wanted her story to help other people, and Michaela promises she will never give up. She doesn't want any other woman to have to go through what her sister did. It's scary how many people are stuck in cruel marriages and relationships, even though you've heard this story a million times. This is a scary circle, and it's really embarrassing to try to break up with someone you're scared of. But if you're in the same situation as Sativa, remember that waiting it out won't help. It's likely to make things worse. You must leave if you are afraid for your safety, your life, or the safety or lives of your children. Right now, do not become like Sativa. Let her case be the light that you need to see. Thanks for watching. If Sativa's story moved you, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to support more cases that need to be heard. Share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay aware, stay safe, and never stop seeking the truth.